Okay, I usually take my measurement up to 22. I think that gives me just, I'll take it a little bit more if I want. I think that's another beauty of digital drawing is how close you can get for the fine detail. It's really unnatural, but then you get there and the width of your pin, and of course the pixelation, you know. It's weird. Let's try. Let's real quick draw like a really detailed face, just as an experiment. Yeah, you know, because I have a finer line. I've been using a thinner strokes on this pen, and that of course helps. You know, I've been liking that more than the thicker strokes lately. On the second issue of Door to Death, you'll notice I used way too thick of strokes, and you know, I guess I had just made an adjustment at some point and never reset it, and I just kind of went with what I had. One thing I've learned is don't get used to one particular pen stroke. You know, try several. Even as you're doing your work, you'll see my approach shift if you're paying close attention. Yes. That. All right, sweetheart. We're leaving for school in a half hour, okay? 'Cause school's late because of the snow, but we're still going today, okay, sweetie? Okay, a cough drop, owlet flighter, cat car. Okay, I think I can handle that. Catboy and owlet. Will you give me 1 minute and I will bring you those things? She heard me talking and she said, whoops, Daddy's probably doing something that he wants to do, so I better go interrupt him. She's up there with her breakfast and Pocoyo until time to go. I woke up, I didn't set my alarm. Okay, so anyway, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, see, this is the problem. Now I don't think we can quite, well, we can. Let's get really insane. She's going to start yelling at me in a second if I don't bring her those toys, like, now. But, how close can, let's get, like, seriously. So now you can actually see the pixelations. It looks like an old video game from when, older fellas like me were really little. So it's actually, you know what that looks like? It reminds me of a Nintendo cutscene. You know, when they'd have some cheesy drawing and it was made of squares, obvious, apparent little. Little by little, I mean really big pixels, having the effect of little squares. All right, let's. So that is what amazes me about digital drawing, and I know this is primitive because I know you can do 1,000 other amazing things, as you'll see in more professional arenas of the really bad cartoons that are coming out these days that are drawn very professionally but wasted on just horrible, worthless, stupid, ridiculous stories. You know. So yeah, I know you can do a lot more than this. I just think that's so cool. You can get really close, and sometimes I just feel some urge to get real close and make a real detailed face up close when I did not need to. Now I've wasted yours, mine, everybody's time, and my daughter, who of course needs her owlet flighter, cat car, and where are they? Let me see if I can do this real quick. Emily, I can't find Gecko. I'll bring you these ones, okay? find Gecko later. We're going to go to school in about a little under a half hour. Oh. There you go. Don't sit too close to the screen. Alright, come to the... Sorry guys, be right back. Swear. Take it, man. Hey, Kenny, I'm throwing it up into the hall. Oh, there you are. Here it comes. Oops. Ready? Yeah. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, I usually take it to 22. I'm going a little bigger because these are smaller panels right here. Okay, we have our... Let's see. Okay, good. You see, when you want to use this trick, which I love, it just makes things so much easier. You know, when you highlight everything behind the characters, you got to, of course, make sure that your lines are completely closed. If there's just one section, one pixel, really, that is not sealed by ink, it will go in there. Then you're out of luck. Oh, and I forgot the little... This is another thing. If you got all these other little spaces, sometimes you forget. Sometimes you miss one little patch. This is only this big area and this little area between his hand and his shoulder. So what's going on here, you might ask? Okay, well, in the plot, this is a dream memory, and I have to admit, I get these from time to time. You know, for me personally, it was grade school that was the most magical time of my life, and some elements of high school have been coming back. But yeah, I get dreams where I return to that easier time. I guess that's it. Of course, we were all more innocent. The world was a little more magical back then. And we missed that, especially if our adolescence was miserable, which I can tell you all about, of course. But as I've mentioned, there were also, for me personally, there were good parts of there were good good stuff that was spoiled by bad toxic influences imposed upon me. So yeah, lately I've been, you know, just friends' faces. I'm from high school, but in this, so anyway, I took this concept, and it's branching off of the other one. Oh yeah, as I mentioned, where old friends are delivering a message, and something is being recalled of youth, and my character. My character, who, for those of you who have not read the actual comics, Adored to Death, got an acting gig as a kid, and as a naive youth, thought that he was going to become a huge movie star. Now, in fact, he became a washed-up nobody shortly after the film's production, and I had not thought of this until I got here because it wasn't relevant. But when he's reflecting, and when he's in his dream and he's reflecting on his old friends, it stands to reason that it's perfectly probable that he burned out the people who were most important to his life back then because he just thought he was so awesome, which is a human enough story. It's perfectly conceivable. I know I never had any film success to really, well, besides making my movies, but I mean, like, you know, it's conceivable that you get a big head once you have success in anything, and maybe you burn out the people that matter the most and start worrying over people who just see you as a stepping stone, perhaps, and you're just trying to impress the cool people. You know, it happens even in adulthood. In my old neighborhood, a lot of the neighbors there were really worried about looking cool. It was weird. It was like really creepy, actually. As weird as I know they figured I was, and whatever. I was like, man, you guys still act like you're in high school. You know I'm childish and everything, but at least I'm not like, oh, here comes that guy. I better look look cool. I want to run with the cool kids. Let me sit there and talk about my lawn. Yeah, let's talk about our lawn, man. I did some stuff to my lawn. I gave it this treatment. I did this thing, and we're repairing our kitchen. We're painting our kitchen, and I've got this really cool teal color. It's really great, and you should come check it out. And I make burgers really on my grill, and you know how that goes. I kind of thought I wanted to do a more mundane picture. I only have so much time, and I wanted, and said because of this the delay over at school. I'm gonna use this time. I got 20 minutes. Let's see how much I can get done in 20 minutes. I'd like to get some significant amount done. If I don't, I can come back and do a little more later and just edit it in. I never really got a knack for it. People, you just draw little figures in the back, and it's almost like I'm trying too hard to make them detailed. You look at the most professional, like manga artist, and then you look at the little characters they put in the background, and it's so simple. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much, to be honest. Let's just try. Okay, depending on how far they are. I mean, when you look at them, and look in Junji Ito, there's like little stick figures. I mean, obvious. When I'm stating the obvious, you can't get close enough to give them a lot of detail. But I was the kind of guy who was so OCD. There were times when uh, um, there, I'd be trying to draw little expressions on their faces, on characters in the background, worried that they need an eye, nose, and mouth. You don't need that, obviously, when they're this small. But what do I know? Yeah, so this character's just, he's having this dream visitation by people who are actually not his friends, but it's bringing back those memories, and he's just remembering that kind of magical time when they were all friends and everything was cool, and before the stupidity of the so-called real world started effing him up. Also, if you've read Door to Death, you see how far down the drain he goes when his life doesn't really offer up anything else. Of course, he realizes that the film he was in as a kid has a lot of meaning to his own destiny, and he just wonders what kind of forces are at work because of its reflection upon the current strangeness and horror that is inflicting the world around him. Its similarities to the film he was in, and as I mentioned in the journal entries of that book, or the liner notes, or whatever you want to call them, I was very much inspired by The Gate, and I had kind of a running joke in it, or I call it a joke, is that everyone now around the age of 40 recognized a lot of people who are geeks now and grew up being geeks recall the movie that it was inspired not by The Gate that Winston was in. They recall it, and they all have the same story. It's the only horror movie I was allowed to watch at that age. One of the only horror movies I was allowed to watch at that age because it wasn't R. And that came to me because my good friend Josh, we had the same story. We wanted to get horror movies over at Blockbuster or Errol's Video or wherever, whichever one we were going to, and our parents always just made sure it wasn't too awful. There's no, not too much, not sex and violence in this thing. And if it was PG or PG-13, you had a chance. Then it was usually okay. And The Gate was one of those. And besides just being an awesome movie, I really put The Gate with the Goonies. In that it's about these youths having this unbelievable adventure, and I think that's really relevant to, I think there's just the way that speaks to the imaginations of kids, that in its respect was part of the movies like that were part of the magic of our childhood. Take the Goonies for example. Everyone wanted to go on a adventure and find pirate treasure after watching that film. Let's see if I can hurry up and get this thing over with, because I have 16 minutes. It was probably stupid of me to start this right now, but that's how I do things, stupidly. Yeah, let's hurry. You know what? Yeah, I've given enough attention to this, haven't I? I have. You know, and I get going, and sometimes when I'm just really relaxed and having a good time and running my mouth like I am now, I can, you know, stuff like this happens. I'll just get really into the detail because I'm not stressing over it so much. Sometimes it's just, you know, I'm really not thinking about what I'm doing here, and I think that's one of the benefits of running my mouth about random stuff. It is I kind of zone out, and my subconscious takes over. Yeah, I mean, I swear, you know, I guess that there's points where my mind is in such a way that I'm just I won't really recall doing this stuff. Okay, so lately I've been using a lot of the charcoal. The stroke is too big, so let's do that here. I'll usually use a marker. Actually, let me just show you the marker. I'll go to the marker. I'll take a really thin, pardon me, thin, light gray tone. You know, and that works too. You can see, then you do like the underside of these trees. Then go 2 shades darker, and you can go to the pen if you want to be more precise. And there you go. Stuff like that. And let's go back to this brush. Let's get these trees a little more. Just kind of, I think the term is feather them out. Just kind of give it a little fade. And let's go a little darker for the undersides there. Give it a little more dimension. I'm out. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. All right, let's get this grass in the foreground. Is obviously a little lighter. Give it some horizontal strokes as such. Give it, you know what? Nope. Bad idea. Well, and you know, if you ever go too dark on the shading, just take some white, go back over it. Let's give it a little more sunlight out here. It is supposed to be. This is supposed to indicate a bright and beautiful day. Bo 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 bo. Back to the thing again. Shame on me. It's probably making that noise. I guess I'll find out later if it's creating that noise with or without having it up on the stand, the base of the computer monitor. It might shake the camera less and give us less of that noise. Okay. All right. Oh, what am I doing? Okay. Yeah. I think I'm done here. Might want to make sure before you get too involved in the rest, because if you got to backtrack, let's give it a slightly bigger nose, slightly wider nose, big. Happy smiles. Life is good. Oops. I had a really cool dream last night where I got to talk to, I guess maybe just all this reflection on my past, my misspent youth and everything. It just makes, you know, it makes a guy like me reminisce, and it comes to fruition in my dreams. I see people, faces I wish I could see under circumstances I wish could be. Get to talk to friends that are long gone. And you know what? Because I've dragged you all through this, let's erase the pencils. Is a token of apology for how much I talk, which I do sincerely apologize for. Let's give these guys a little. Yeah, I got 10 minutes. Okay, let's at least get to the next panel before I have to let you go. I do apologize. I wanted to do a whole page. You know, how in depth you want to go with the shading, of course, is up to you. But mine the picture, and it's going to vary. I mean, I swear. I mean, I'm convinced that it really depends on the picture, your line strokes, your shading, everything, and just how much time you give it. You know. And this is a page. This is you know, I haven't even gotten to the point of why I'm sharing this particular page with you yet. Is I want to show you different things, different approaches I take to this. And this page I wanted to share simply for its, pardon me, but simply for its simplicity. I think it's a fun page I can do very casually, even though I did those others kind of without thinking too much about it. Pat myself on the back there. But seriously, I really don't feel like I got to sweat this this page too much. That line's too thick. And that's what I love about pages like this. Is it's that breather, you know, in between the monsters and gore and blah, and more detailed pages. Okay, so let's look here. Let me at least. Okay, we're gonna go down to this panel. You get the basic idea. It would have been great if I could have gotten to. Okay. Now, of course, here, I'll just say he's been talking to these people. He says, "Man, I haven't seen you since grade school," and because this is a dream visitation, and the laws of physics and time and space don't really apply. You know how dreams are. As he's talking to them and remembering his childhood, he's speaking through himself as a child all of a sudden. And here he is lamenting what a mistake it was to let good friends like this go. Like, you know, he was of the mind that they weren't important anymore. You know, he got a taste of a little fame, if you will. He got to be a movie star for, you know, 10 minutes and just thought that this is it, I'm set, this is the end. And it's like, no, you know, that all this stuff is I know, no matter, you know, it can all get ripped away in a flash. And if anything else, it's a reminder of how important those true friends really are. So, not my story exactly, but a relatable human story that I think all of us who are human could relate to. And I guess I'll grant myself that. See, I'm not good at drawing stories, making stories about people who have superpowers and are really cool. I'm drawn toward stories where people are frail, vulnerable, frightened, weak in some cases, because we all felt that way. And no matter how cool it'd be to get some superpowers and go around beating up bad guys, I just need to kind of be there with the characters. I need to say, yeah, dude, I know exactly what you mean. And I would hope that my readers can say the same. Of course, then you also get into all the monsters and aliens and all that cool stuff. And I think that arm's a little too long, don't you? I should wrap this up. Yep, I should wrap this up right about now, actually. This sucks. I'll consider coming back to this. Otherwise, maybe I'll just save some for another video. I mean, it's already been it's been like 25 minutes. You guys haven't seen much. You've heard me run my mouth a lot, so might even just have to consider scrapping this video. But I really love every inch of making comics. I do enjoy the process, and I think it's worth at least sharing. Whether or not it's worth your time, I mean, that's up to you. I hope this is making a connection somewhere. Yeah, okay. Saying don't worry, because in the end, you know, if you at least remember and are penitent. You know, it's the true friends after all this time understand that's just how things are. And you can't go back to childhood, as nice as that'd be. But it's still okay. And I would imagine this, I don't know what the dialogue here is yet, but this old friend, she's probably saying something along the lines of, you know, yeah, it's fine. It was, you know, we were friends back then. It was good. And you know, forget about leaving us hanging. It's okay. Everything worked out just fine. Look toward the future and worry about what you got going on now. And, you know, our paths crossed, and in that sense, you know, we'll always kind of be friends, right? Got more ambitious with eyes. I think I do eyes better than I did last year. Eyes have always given me trouble. Except I really didn't want them that big on this girl. I seriously gotta go. Yeah, I gotta go like now. Okay, folks. Real quick. Save. Bye-bye. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll be back soon. I wanted to do more, but let's keep it shorter today. All right. Bye-bye. I suppose. All right, now bye-bye.
Door to Death, Volume 1, Revived Hive, collecting the first 5 issues of Door to Death in the single Charlotte comic. Oh man, it's so brutal, it's gonna make you puke blood all over the place. Totally blood puking, awesome, nasty, so savage, just kill yourself. It smells like crap, it's so awesome. It'll make your girlfriend spray love sauce all over the walls, and then you'll go crazy. Pick up a copy for your nephew, he'll think you're the coolest uncle ever. Kill me, even though no one ever calls you, you're still loved. Never give up hope.